Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Live at the Waterhole. Starting here with a fabulous Tal Game Lodge up there in Medjugorje Game Reserve in the northwest of South Africa. It's 12:30 here in South Africa, Monday the 28th of April. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours to see what we can see. Very excited to let you all know that we are live, we are fully interactive, and you can send us through your comments, your questions, your thoughts, your ideas. It's a very, very important part of the show, and we couldn't do it without you. Send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions. Or you can scan the QR code on your screens that has an impala sitting on it. We love to hear from you, and you can join the conversation on X using #WildEarth, or again, scan the QR code on your screens. We've been getting some great questions lately. I love to give them some serious consideration, and you're welcome to send them through via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. We look forward to hearing from all of our regulars and also any newcomers that have just joined us. Mr. Elemental, hi Kelly and Mika from Janset, Western Australia. Welcome, Mr. Elemental. Thank you so much for being here from all that way away. Those, I don't recognise those rocks in that dam. I wonder if that's part of a dam wall or something that's gone in since I was there. It's a lovely little rocky area there, which with what appears to be a greater egret. It's sometimes quite tricky to tell on these cameras. Egrets often identified on size and beak and leg colour. I can find it very difficult to gauge a size, but I'm pretty sure that's a great egret there. Quite a big bird. Standing not far off a meat at all. Quite tricky to get some perspective there. Deb Davis, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Mercedes Bean, greetings Wild Earth crew and chatters. Happy Monday. Happy Monday back at you, Mercedes. Relaxing with tea after a busy weekend. That sounds like an excellent idea, Mercedes. I'm just finishing off a cup of coffee. I managed to get my rusks finished a couple of minutes ago because no one would want to hear me eating rusks. Joanne Mellor, good day Wild Earth and Kelly. Good day, Joanne. Thank you for joining us today. Harriet Hodgins, hello Kelly FC and Wild Earth chatters from lovely mild sunny day here in Cape Town. Also lovely mild day and sunny here in the Lowveld, which is absolutely delightful. Looks like we've got some little, that's a blacksmith lapping on the left, probably on the right as well, sitting there on the edge of the water. Erica Oldno, hi Kelly, surrounded by fires on the mountain here in Cape Town. Oh golly, I didn't know there was fires in Cape Town at the moment. I hope everyone stays safe there, Erica. You're asking, how is the snake? Apparently we can't currently see the snake, but it did hang around for a while. After the show finished yesterday, I actually also went onto the cameras and watched that snake for quite a while. It was moving very, very slowly towards the water. It was definitely, it looked very healthy and well to me, but it was moving very slowly. I think I've watched for probably 30 minutes, and it was sort of doing a few centimetres, stopping. To me it looked like it was probably heading to the water. I think it was there this morning, but I've just had an update that it's not currently visible. So Erica, that's all I can tell you. If we do get any visuals on that snake, we will definitely bring them to you. Nice stripy reflections in the water there. Lovely still day there up in Medikwe as well by the looks of it. See that constant swishing, keeping the flies away. Oh, and a little bit of a kick. Zebras and their horsey cousins. No one's doing it here, or maybe that one at the back there. But they will often stand nose to tail and do each other favours by flicking flies from each other's faces. Oh, there's a very busy male impala at the back there. He's obviously going somewhere very important. Very important time of year for him. Thank you, Mercedes. I often forget my coffee once I settle down to do this, but I'll try and remember to take the occasional very quiet slurp. You can see why a predator would find this confusing. It just looks like, if you sort of squint a tiny bit, this does indeed just look like a jumble of stripes here.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favourite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. Over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed colour.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
There's definitely some pairing up going on there now. Jack Mayer. Are those plains zebra? Yes, Jack Mayer, they are indeed plains zebra, or Birchall's zebra. So your most common zebra. I actually saw something the other day, and there was more zebra families or species than I thought there was. But these ones we see here, they're definitely the most numerous. They're the ones we see in these big herds, Jack, Birchall's, or plain zebra. Animal lover, you're asking, why are herbivores able to coexist peacefully when carnivores cannot, even when there is an abundance of food? Well, that's a really good question. Maybe it's got something to do with, my gut is going down the lines of, it's harder for carnivores to hunt, and it takes more energy for them to obtain food, so they don't want food competition. Off the top of my head, animal lover, is what I would guess. That would be my best guess, to be honest. But you do occasionally see, I've seen dogs and hyena, not exactly friendly sharing kill, but in the same area. And also, if you think about it, lions and leopards will sometimes be within 100 metres of each other, as long as no one's getting in anyone else's face. That's very clearly a male waterbuck that has potentially something on his mind. And lots of these herbivores are roughly, lots of the herbivores are pregnant for around about 6-ish months, give or take, depending on the species. And 6 months from now, we are going to be coming back into the season of abundance, so there are going to be lots of herbivores showing mating or rutting or breeding behaviours at the moment. Joey, what happens to the crocodiles when the waterholes dry up? They move, and they can walk quite a long way. This waterhole won't dry up though, Joey. This is a pumped waterhole. So this is at the lodge, and while it does get much smaller, this waterhole won't dry up. These crocodiles have been here for many years. I first met them in 2013, so they've been here a while. But out in the bush, they'll move, and they can walk quite a long way. I've been asked this question before, and I've got in my head that a crocodile walked. No, I can't remember. I'm going to have to recheck it. It was like 100 kilometres, or they can walk decent distances, but I'm not going to give you a number because I'm going to need to check it, Joey. But that's a great question. Jordana, why do you find some animals in one part of a continent but in others you do not, like gorillas in Africa? Another brilliant question. A lot of it is habitat. Some animals prefer different habitats to others, or not prefer, they require different habitats to others. It could be resource based. And remember, there were lots of animals found in lots of different places before humans got involved. Some animals were found in places there no longer are, potentially due to human interference. or there's another, it's called geographical speciation, which is why you might find crocodiles in one place, alligators in another place, caimans in another place. So they fulfill a particular niche in an environment, and it could be the same for species. So if you've got one type of great ape in one location, the similar niche could be filled by a different animal or a different species in an alternative location. Oh wow, the questions are absolutely pumping this morning, team. Excellent stuff. Kay, do animals have hormones and endocrine systems like ours? Yes, Kay, they do. Very, very similar. Message from Tracy. Hi, my name's Tracy. I've recently started watching live at the Waterhole and I love it. I'm glad you love it, Tracy. You are most welcome here and I'm glad you found us. I'm a massive cat lover and love watching the big cats as well as the rest of the wildlife. Plus, your cat Misty loves watching too and will sit right in front of the TV watching all the elephants and birds and leopards. She tries looking for them behind the TV. Misty, if you're watching, welcome. I'm glad you are enjoying the show. And I'm unsurprised, Tracy, that your cat Misty loves watching everything on the screen. Animals are very clever, hey? They're very observant. Our domestic animals are pretty special and are capable of amazing things, in my opinion. Is winter mating season for all antelope, so in the spring we have new lambs? Ruska? Pretty much, roughly, kinda. There will be some areas that varies in. So winter, spring, it's more based on rain. So some parts of Africa where the rainy seasons are different will also impact breeding seasons. Ooh, zebras, be nice to each other. As a rule, yes, everything wants to have its babies when there's lots of food and lots of water around. Great question, Ruska. Okay, let's go across to Oliphants. Lovely scenes here though at Tower Game Lodge. Nice and busy today, everyone coming down for a drink. I'm sure we will be back here later. Okay, that's a fairly well submerged elephant by the looks of it. Having an absolute blast. Oh, there's still lots of water in there. See, that must be quite a substantial current there, but I suppose it is an elephant, so maybe it's almost like a spa, like a bubble bath for that elephant. It's interesting actually. I don't often see elephants swim like this. There was a place in one of the reserves I used to walk in that had that had quite a deep dam that we used to see fairly regularly. But I haven't often seen elephants swimming in rivers. I've seen more since I've been watching this camera than ever before, to be honest. This elephant's deep out there. Picasso. Hi, Picasso. Did I see any white storks this season? They were seen in Germany a few months ago, but then it was quiet. Now they must be back north again. I can't remember, Picasso. I have seen white storks before. No immediate white stork sightings spring to mind recently, but that doesn't mean they haven't been around. I probably haven't been paying attention, if I'm honest. Penelope Kenyon. Hello Wild Earth, Kelly, Mika, Zoomies and all chatters. Hello. Good afternoon, Penelope Kenyon, or good morning, or is that there's a big log floating down there as well. Wow, there's lots of water. You would not even know that that elephant's under there until it pops up. This is a good sized elephant. Ah, look at that tail. See, can this elephant even still stand in here? Or is he actually swimming now? Look at that. And what's that in there? Closest to us, is that something in the water? Or just water hitting rocks or something? Okay, I think this elephant's swimming now. Huh. I've never seen an elephant swim across a river like this, I don't think. Okay, elemental, are elephants good swimmers? See demonstration 1 live on your screens. Is there more elephants here? I don't even know. That's a strong current in that river, in my opinion. And that elephant is powering across there. Huh, apparently there was 2 other elephants here earlier. So yeah, elemental, they're not as good as penguins. But they're certainly very competent swimmers, as we have just demonstrated. Mindy Tilipa, you're saying good morning. FC, and good morning to you, Mindy. Have I ever seen a croc walk on land? Yes, I have. They're quite cumbersome. They can give a little sprint, but not for very long. If I had to choose, I would rather be chased by a crocodile on land than in the water. Beekeeper, do crocodiles ever have territorial battles, or are they very tolerant of each other, like the 2 in Tao? I think there's actually 4 in Tao Beekeeper, if my memory serves correctly. They will occasionally, but as a rule, they seem to be very tolerant of each other. I'm fascinated watching this elephant. So that elephant has literally just swum across this river, and now it looks like he's resting. I'm going to assume this is a adult male. It's a bit tricky to tell from here. Dark Main Lover, good afternoon, Kelly and FC Mika. Great to see you again, Kelly, as our wonderful host. Dark Main Lover, I am delighted to be here. Wondering what questions you're going to throw at me today. But let's just appreciate this for a second. We've literally just watched this 3-ton animal, or whatever it is, ford a fast-flowing river. I've never seen that before. And now it looks like it's having a scratch or something now. Is he scratching? Oh, has he got a gap to get out there? Wow. I've never watched an elephant cross a river that deep before. That is fascinating. I often miss things crossing rivers because I found if you have guests with you, sometimes animals take a long time to make a decision about crossing a river, and people don't always have the patience to wait. And that is the first time I've seen an elephant fully, properly ford and swim across a fast-flowing river like that. That was very cool to watch. Mercedes Bean, you've got a plush Louis from The Princess and the Frog. That's as close you want to get to a gator or croc. Yeah, I was taught very early on when I arrived in Africa that if it's bigger than a sink, there might be a crocodile in it. So I'm also I've heard lots of stories that, well, they're not stories. They are true happenings of incidents with crocodiles. Catherine, hi Kelly and Mika. Hello Catherine, thank you for joining us. Jean Grove, won't the elephant drown in the river? See example 1. Jean Grove, no. It could become problematic, or does become problematic, if there are little tiny calves. There have been incidents of little tiny calves, but this is a big animal. They've got a lot of weight, but they've also got a lot of muscle and a lot of power. So Jean Grove, I present one very not drowned elephant after a very deep river crossing. Penelope, you watched them crossing yesterday with the small ones. That would make me tense. I would be concerned about seeing little elephants crossing that river, but if everyone came out okay, it also just goes to show how strong swimmers they are. If even small ones, look at the current on that river. That's flowing really quickly, and that elephant's not even out of breath. Got out carrying on about his day. Dark Main Lover. Kelly, do you know if currently elephant herds are being culled in certain reserves in Africa? Do I think culling is the answer for balance in nature? That's a really tough question, Dark Main Lover. I could not confirm or deny if there is culling going on anywhere in Africa. I don't know. It would take a lot of research to confirm that. So I don't know. I'm not even making it up. I couldn't answer honestly one way or the other. Do I think culling is the answer for balance in nature? It's a really tough question to answer. My gut goes no, absolutely not. It's disgusting. No one should ever cull or kill any animals. But unfortunately, in reality, humans have made a little bit of a mess of a lot of things, or a big mess of a lot of things, in fact. I don't know. There would be a massive it depends. I'm trying to think. If there was a 200 hectare area with 100 elephants in it, which is obviously far, far, far too many, and 85 of them were culled, then would they also, if they weren't, they'd all die, probably. If there was no way to move them or relocate them or let them out or anything else, and 90 of them were culled, would the last 10 survive? Possibly. But it would probably be too late by then, and everything would have been destroyed in an area. It's a really difficult question to answer, Dark Mane Lover. One part of me says no, nothing should ever be killed, and the other part of me Dark Mane Lover, I think respecting nature is the answer for balancing nature, and not getting involved in the first place. So based on that, no, I think we should respect it in the first place. There we go, that's a good answer. I got there in the end. Deb Davis, that's very awesome, seeing those elephants crossing the river. And yes, Mercedes, the river is still super high. Hello, Giraffe. Wow, you guys are brilliant with questions today. Thank you, FC, for getting them all through as well. Animal Lover, do elephants mate in water so they don't have to carry the weight of another elephant? No, they do not. I have seen elephants mating and it was not in water, so no. And there is a lot of weight involved in elephant mating. This giraffe is. I don't often see giraffes drink out of rivers either. Obviously thought better of it, maybe he's thinking about those crocs that might be in there. Jean, are elephants not too heavy to swim in the water? No, Jean, they're not. Think of the blue whale. They're pretty heavy. Also very competent swimmers. Dark Mane Lover, it's a pleasure for greeting you, and apologies for rambling somewhat while trying to answer your very difficult, insightful questions. You are going to have a drink there as well. Gina Biddle, hello Kelly and Mika. Hello Gina, thank you for joining us. That's very awkward, isn't it? Could you think of a more awkward drinking position? He's also leaning downhill as well. That's possibly why giraffes, I haven't seen many giraffes drink out of rivers, because it's going to be on a bank. So that water is even lower down than if it was a dam and the water was at foot height, making it even harder for them. Hi Spas, apart from elephants, anything else interesting in the beginning? All sorts of things, Spas. I'm disappointed you missed it. We had zebras and a great egret, all sorts of things. And what are the chances of seeing a crocodile here at Oliphant's River? Pretty good. Crocodiles often aren't huge fans, from what I remember, of very fast flowing water, which this is at the moment. And the best chance of seeing them is if they're sunning themselves on the banks. So if you want to check for crocs, Spas, have a good scan along the edges of this river, I would say. And they're also asking, are riverboat safaris popular in Africa, especially in such areas observing animals like elephants? Yes, very, very common in Botswana. You go out on I've never done it, but there are dugout canoes, I believe called macquarrels, and you go out onto the waterways and gain view from dugout canoes. Also, I have been on what river was it? Up in Zimbabwe. I can't remember the name of the river. Zambezi. Was it the Zambezi? No, I can't remember. I've been on a river boat safari in Africa a couple of times actually. Very cool experience. So I mean, it's a pleasure for answering your very well thought out questions. Alex, they say in the UK, like in 1 or 2 generations, no kids will see all this safari stuff. If I can do anything to avoid that happening, Alex, I will, because that would be absolutely, utterly tragic. And I think it's why shows like this are so incredibly important. If one child or even one adult sees any of these scenes and it sparks any sort of interest in nature, then that is why we are here, Alex, and we must prevent that from happening.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild. Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
There was quite a few elephants on the other bank there. Maybe the family group had crossed first. It looked like there was a family group there. And you often find males will follow breeding herds. So maybe that guy we saw. And interesting that I think that's the first time I've ever seen an elephant's tail upright. It was upright like a warthog's there, which is not something I've seen before either. Gina Biddle, that was a lovely sighting. of that giraffe having a drink there in the river. Not very comfortably by the looks of it. It's an absolute pleasure. Jean Grove, yes, there are absolutely bats flying around at night sometimes. Often dusk is the most common time to see bats. I've actually got some bats living in my roof, fortunately over the other side, so don't hear them too much, but they come out and flit around of an evening. But definitely there will be plenty of bats active around this Oliphants River here. If you drive over the bridges in Kruger, if you drive over the Oliphants River, it's almost a happy smell, not to everyone's taste, but very, very strong smells of bat droppings or guana on the bridges, because they all live under the bridges and you can hear them. If you put your should I say this? I've done it before. There's some bridges in the Kruger where you can stop and get out your car, and if you get out your car and put your ear like to one of the gaps, you can hear all the bats under the bridge. And yes, I've done that. Oscar, do I think if the giraffe fell in it would be able to swim? My gut says probably, because there are some animals in nature that can't swim. Giraffe, structurally, I would have thought would be one of those animals, but I'm not sure nature would make something that spent so much time near rivers be unable to swim. I'm thinking about their body structure. I mean, elephants are quite big and round and look like they would be fairly buoyant, but I think a giraffe might sort of make it to the bank if they really flailed around, but I don't think giraffe would be actively partaking in river crossings, Oscar. They're just not designed for it. They're all like thin and leggy and long, which to me doesn't bode for good swimming capabilities. And Dark Mane Lover, so nice to watch that giraffe. It makes me almost edgy watching him bend that low and that far down the bank there as well. Trace_UK, hiya, thanks for being here. Giraffes have something special about their hearts, or something that prevents them from getting a mad head rush when they pull up after drinking. Can't remember how it works. Let me remind you how it works, Trace _UK. I haven't revised this for a while, but I think the left ventricle in a giraffe has much thicker walls, because it has to work so hard to pump blood all the way up to its head. And apparently the pressure in a giraffe's legs, the blood pressure in a giraffe's legs, is also incredibly high, because of that, because it's going so far up and then so far down. And they do indeed have, it's almost like a valve system and a spongy thing called a rete mirabile that sits under I believe under their skull, and there's also a valve up there somewhere as well, because if they when they bend down or stand up, the huge pressures of blood would have a negative impact on them both ways. If that huge blood flow rushed to their head and then rushed away from their head, it wouldn't be great for them. So that sponge sort of slows the flow down a little bit, and you often see giraffes when they finish drinking, they will sort of, I just did it then, it's almost like a flick, and I believe that has some sort of impact on those valves, and then the blood slowly filters through that sort of sponge, and then returns to where it should be without that river's really high. I know we got some more rain a few days ago, but that looks crazy. that looks like height of the rainy season levels to me. Maybe there was more rain further upstream that I don't know about. But that is a healthy river. So yes, Trace_UK, that is how it works. Spas, you've heard of straw-coloured fruit bats in some areas in Kruger. What other bats would live in such an area? Ooh, I'm not great with bats, Spas. I didn't quite catch where we are going, but we have another giraffe somewhere, so let's go and have another look at this other giraffe in Trace UK. We can see if you can, maybe if the other giraffe has a drink, you can see if you can place all these implements that I've just discussed in another giraffe. Let's see if he's going to drink. Spas, I'm not great with bats. I find it very difficult to identify bats because you can't see them without sort of picking it up, which obviously you don't do. Okay, Trace_UK, watch this, watch this, watch this. No, it's got a bird in my head. Get off. Without, I know we get epilated fruit bats, but without, they've got very key defining features, a lot of bats, and without sort of holding them, I'm not very good at identifying bats, to be honest, Spas. See, watch this flick, Trace. Watch. Might drink for a while. Flick, flick, flick. There we go. And one flick for luck. And another one. There's actually, Spas, I've seen a bat book. That's how tricky bats are to identify. You have, like, I've got a reptile book, I've got a bird book, and I've seen a bat book as well. Wildlife lady, good afternoon. Yes, that river is really flowing quite fast. Have a little flick there. Giraffe are very vulnerable when they're drinking, and it's why they often spend a lot of time deciding whether or not it's an appropriate location to take a chance to get some water. Oh, Spas, I've just remembered there's a free-tailed bat. I'm just trying to think. There used to be epilated fruit bats, I think, at Skukuza Airport, and there's a free-tailed bat also found in Kruger. I'm just trying to remember which ones I've sort of formally checked. But yeah, there's lots of different species of bats that are found in and around the Kruger. Well up into double figures, I think, Spas. Catherine, I've never been on a mackerel. You're very lucky if you have, but I've never had the opportunity to do it. I think I'd be able to. You're quite vulnerable there, down on a mackerel, and I've heard or seen stories of hippo incidents and the like. But it would be a very nice way to see the bush. Maybe a canoe down the Amazon. That would be cool. Mercedes, you're saying you don't think giraffes can swim, they wade. I would be inclined to agree. I can't imagine any giraffe ever going, oh, let's swim across this river. And my gut says that if they were aware that the river was not wadeable in, they would rather give it a skip and find a different point. I'm thinking more from the perspective that, I don't know, if they fell in or something, could they maybe scramble their way out? Possibly. But no, I mean, this, apart from the excellent periscope facilities, I don't think they're really designed for swimming, in my opinion.
We have just had our efforts paid off. Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
If you're thinking about booking a trip with Wild Earth, do it. I highly recommend it.
Are great for views, but you really, oh, look at the wind picking up there. But you really do get a feel of being in the middle of it when you're down low like this at these cameras. I think let's head back across to Tau. There was all sorts of things happening across there. Let's go back and see what changes have occurred. We've got some water back here. Still looking quite green. Spas, you're saying Shalati Bridge has free towel bats. Yeah, I'm sure I've identified free, but there's the bats in the, even just in the Kruger. Bats are numerous, and I'm sure there's 20 or 30 species found in and around the Kruger and I'm not even going to attempt to name them all. And like I said, it's very difficult. I struggle to identify them because without sort of seeing them, I mean, you can barely see they're a bat half the time, unless you sadly find them dead or something. You don't normally get close to them. You just see sort of black things flitting around in the sky. And Tracy, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your question, and thank you for your participation. And a brain sponge. It's pretty cool. Nature is absolutely incredible. I remember reading somewhere about because they've got such high blood pressure, their lower legs, like their shins, are almost specially adapted so they don't pop. And apparently NASA was looking at the structure of tissue and muscle in their shins that was able to withstand such a high pressure. Nature is incredibly smart. Incredibly smart. I totally agree. Animal lover, do bats really drink blood? Some, or one or two species. There are real, I don't know if they're actually called vampire bats, but there are bats, I think they're in, is it North America? I've watched a documentary about it, but a long time ago, and they will feed on blood. They will nick. I think they almost put an anaesthetic in and then make little nicks in cattle. I've seen them drinking blood from cattle, I think. Not all bats, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I've got a story about bats. Who wants to hear my bat story? Oh look, there's two of the crocs at Tau. Lots of people say, firstly, no, definitely not all bats drink blood. People often get quite scared of bats for this mythical reason, and I think a lot of it's because people don't really understand bats. I don't understand bats. I've actually got a very good friend who's, I think she did bats as part of her thesis for something. Charlotte, if you're listening, hi. But I would love to understand bats better. But you have to really be committed to studying bats, I think, to get a better understanding of them. And I think because of this, lots of people are a bit fearful of them. And lots of people say, oh, the next myth is, oh, bats will always get stuck in your hair. Probably not. Then people say, no, bats have a really good echolocation system. They won't bump into anything, and that until about 6 or 7 years ago, they do use echolocation, and they use it absolutely brilliantly to hunt. Incredible echolocation. So they basically use sound waves to avoid stuff, which is where I was with my bat knowledge up until about 7 or 8 years ago. And I was sitting outside a room one night and a bat did indeed fly straight into my face. So I don't know if his echolocation system was broken. So I've gone full circle. He did not get stuck in my hair. And it was an incredibly unlikely one-off that a bat hit me in the face. Lovely view of these two crocodiles here. Justin, you're asking, do crocs have a mating ritual? Could they be a mating pair? And have I ever seen crocs mate? Justin? Excellent question. I think let's go across to Elephant Pan and I will tell you more about the mating rituals of crocodiles. But let's see who we've got over at Elephant Pan. Oh wow, that's cool. That buffalo's like, excuse me. Justin, I have never seen crocodiles mating, I've very rarely seen them interacting actually. But they will show, they do have it's sort of like a courtship display, where the males will become more active and they will actually almost vibrate to attract females. I've never seen any of this. The males will show more territoriality. See that? Tracy _UK, did you see that? See that little giraffe flick again? But there are quite elaborate mating rituals of crocodiles. I don't know what sex those crocodiles are at Tau, to be honest. I would really struggle to identify it. Oh, Shane, where are you going? I've got a feeling they're all the same sex at Tau. Let me find out. I've got people I can ask at Tau, and I will find out, unless anyone out there knows. And because those crocodiles were brought to Tau, I think, not brought to Tau, but they were relocated there. So let me, look at this. Buffalo, giraffe and elephant all in one shot. Let me find out a bit more, and I'll see if I can establish if they are all one sex, those crocodiles at the Tau waterhole. I've got a feeling they are. Ooh, ooh, That buffalo's just sort of serenely wandered off, and the elephants start chasing everyone around. Justin, let me find out if I've never seen a crocodile mate. Yes, they do have an elaborate mating ritual, and I don't know if they could be a mating pair. Let me find out. That's a little bit more concise, wasn't it, Justin? Oh, Dark Man Lover, I see you're also asking, how can you tell who is a male or female croc? Off the top of my head, I couldn't. Oh, okay, brilliant, Julian. Thank you very much. 3 species of bat in Central and South America. I knew it was something to do with America, so it's 3 species. Chance of them attacking humans is almost nil. Anywhere else in the world, bats are entirely beneficial. Yes, I concur, Julian. Thank you very much for the clarification on that. But yeah, I knew they existed. I just wasn't quite sure in what numbers or exactly where. So thank you. Look, interesting to see both of them drinking at the same time here as well. Animals, when they're vulnerable, sometimes use a buddy system. So one will drink, the other one keeps alert, and vice versa. I want to know more about crocodile mating behaviours now. I've never seen it, and I'm not I think it would be seasonal, but I don't know how I don't even know if it would be in the water. Let me consult my reptile book. Gina, yes, it's a lovely sighting, and yeah, standard elephant chasing chasing everyone away.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
I'm frantically doing some reading here on crocodile mating. I think I can hear a pearl-spotted owlet there. Sorry about that. We just had a frozen feed there from Elephant Pan, but we are back at Jackie's Sabi house in the Sabi Sounds with a terrapin. Used to be from the Chelonian group, and now the Testudines group, after being renamed. I've been frantically doing a spot of research on crocodile mating, and It seems they do mate in water, which could be why it's very unusual to see it. And he sort of rubs his head on her apparently, and then twists his tail underneath to actually copulate. I didn't know that. Males are bigger than females, and I've also been reliably informed that the crocodiles at Tau have been seen laying eggs before, but they haven't been successful, and I think part of the reason might be due to they normally need sand. Crocodile incubation, incubation of any eggs actually is very dependent on temperature, and we're gonna go across to Founders. I think we might have something over there. And it's believed that the eggs haven't hatched due to the wrong substrate that they were laid in, which hello Rhino, the wrong substrate that those crocodile eggs were laid in, which wouldn't surprise me because they normally use sand, which has some airflow through it. And I know for a fact that the ground around that waterhole at Tower is definitely not sand. It's a soil. And there's also lots of black cotton soil in Madikwe, which would not work for crocodile egg incubation. But thank you for feeding back on this. And thank you for the update from one of our fabulous zoomies that I have lost now. Thank you very much, Zumi, who gave me this information that it has been seen before. Oh, from Bundu. Thank you very much. Wow, I've got some catching up to do here. Kaz is asking, have I seen a giraffe give birth? No, I have not, unfortunately. Dark Main Lover. Wow, you have some brilliant questions. Have I ever been chased on foot while I've been walking in the bush? I have not been chased because that would have meant I was running, which is not normally what you need to do. But I have had one or two incidents that have caused me some concern. Chased like a cartoon? No, fortunately not. Wow, Julian Thomas, I totally missed that blackwing still. I was frantically trying to do research on how crocodiles copulate, so I missed the blackwing stilt. Julian Thomas, I apologise for that. Akisia Mungwe, you're asking why the tiger isn't part of the Big Five. Because we don't find tigers in Africa, so they're not part of our African Big Five. Maybe there is a Big Five in areas where tigers are found, and I'm very sure, oh hello little baby, come this way. I'm very sure that they would be included in any big animal classifications in the areas that they are found in. Spas, you think the easiest way to determine a male and female crocodile is size, but it is difficult. Males are bigger, they're slightly broader, but if you get a slightly older female, slightly younger male crocodile, then yeah, I'm not sure. And Gina, beautiful rhino. Yes, this looks like a young one. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a marmy here somewhere as well. Come closer to the camera, little guy. Come say hello. Oh, I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I've been rambling about crocodiles for quite some time. And Alex, crocodiles do make good parents. Yes, Mum will guard that nest ferociously. I actually know someone that found a crocodile nest and left the area very, very quickly. Spas, I haven't, you're asking if I've seen rhinos giving birth. I haven't seen anything giving birth, unfortunately. I've missed impalas by about 30 seconds before, but I've never actually seen a birth, which is devastating. I would love to. But it can't. Ah, is this little guy going to have a play? What's that? Is that a waterhole at the back there? I think so. It's a bit of luck and lots of time and patience to witness births. And often, if I have had guests with me, you can sometimes say, well, let's just hang around here for 15-20 minutes. This water buck is looking uncomfortable, or whatever animal it is. But you don't know if anything's going to come of it, and you start getting the sense soon that people don't really want to sit and watch a part of an animal mostly obscured by a bush that may or may not be about to give birth. Ah! That's a strange place for a zebra to lie down, in the sun, by the water. Julian Thomas, thank you. If you could just stay here and be my birder, that would be fabulous and much appreciated. You said there was a Cape wagtail preening in front of the rhino's nose. Please stay, Julian. Especially the cameras that are not in South or Southern Africa, because my birding skill set is minimal outside of the southern regions, I'm afraid. Oh, but we did get a confirmation that the lilac-breasted roller we saw yesterday was indeed a lilac-breasted roller that had not developed its colours. So my gut was right on that one. Wow, FC, you're doing amazing today, sending all these questions through. I'm trying to catch up. Jive Bunny, any special sightings from my most recent visit to Kruger? I had some really good bird sightings, Jive Bunny, but I think my two favourite sightings were I saw a big mamba crossing the road in front of me, the tar road. I just managed to get my camera out quick enough to snap a couple of pictures to manage to identify it as a mamba. It must have been a good 1.5 meters. And he slithered off into the grass on the other side. And I also went on a night drive and saw my first spring hare for a very long time. I went on one of the Kruger night drives. They were my favourite sightings. There was possibly a cheetah in some grass, but there was lots of cars there, so I did not hang around for too long. But it was a lovely trip. Thank you for asking, Jive Bunny. Oh, hi, fellow zebra. Are you also going to lie down there? I just want to see if this zebra's going to... Oh, no. Is this other one going to lay down? I just want to watch this because there must be a really good bit of sand there that we can't see. Because that's a very strange place for zebras to lie down. It's quite a vulnerable it's quite a vulnerable position, this close to the water. So there must be a really nice thing that these are rolling in. They sort of took it in turns. One got up and made space for the other one to come and have a roll.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve, hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a citizen, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Oh. Happy as a warthog in mud. Really enjoying that mud. Leopard lover, you're saying, since those crocs were relocated, wouldn't it be ethical to provide them with a proper habitat with the correct soil so they can reproduce? It's a great question, leopard lover. There are intensive ecological impact assessments done normally when animals are relocated, and it could be that the carrying capacity of crocodiles for that specific area would mean that breeding could not or may not be the best idea. I'm not sure. It's unlikely though that a full ecological assessment wasn't done on the carrying capacity of an area. But look at this. I don't know how to comment on that, but that was brilliant. That's my favourite sighting of the show so far. Oh no, maybe the swimming elephant. That was pretty cool. David Atwood, you're asking, Kelly, have I got experience of being really close up to male lions roaring? Because you've heard people say that you can feel the vibrations of their roar. Yes, I have. And yes, you can. This is 100% true. These warthogs are loving this. That almost needs some music over it or something. I'm really enjoying watching these warthogs having a good scratch. This is completely true, David. I remember the first time I ever heard a lion roar up close was in Madikwe. It was not far away from town. It was the resident male lion of the area called Kachala, who was the resident male in 2013, 2014. It was probably my 5th ever game drive with guests, and there's 2 copies. There's quite a few sort of copies with undulations through them, quite close to the lodge, and I remember the sighting very clearly. We were sat on the road, and he was lying, and it was starting to get dark around about the time that lions will start to roar, and he walked, and he probably stopped. Oh, I'm looking at a distance, maybe 8 meters from my car, and he stopped and he roared, and his roar bounced off the rock that was sort of all around us, and it amplified it, and it actually frightened the life out of me. I'd never been that close to a male lion roaring before, and you could feel the vibrations on the car. The metal of the car was shaking, and I desperately tried to hold it together and not let on that I was quite. I wasn't frightened, but it was a lot. And then he stopped and he walked off. But yeah, that was my first ever male lion roar. I've had many since then, but it's true and it's amazing and it never gets old, David. I still don't think to this day, if I'm in a vehicle and a lion's going to roar, I still film it every time. I just can't not. It never ever gets old. Jive Bunny, yes, we've had some lovely sightings today. And yeah, I also think those zebras were enjoying something on the other side of that little hillock that we couldn't see properly. It's not even like they were rolling quickly and standing up, they were sort of rolling and enjoying it. And so maybe there was some exceptionally good dust over that side. Deb Davis, that was quite an itch. Gina, a nice scratch. Lindsay, very silly looking, but I really enjoyed those scratches. Joanne Mello, that must feel good. Scratchy, scratchy, scratchy. Got to scratch the itches, and the warthog, Gina says, is very itchy today. I agree. I enjoyed that very much. And how cool! Like we're not. You don't get to watch this as much in person because that's a real. Those animals have to be relaxed. They have to feel completely unthreatened to be able to get that into a scratch. That was so nice watching those warthogs. Let's go back over to elephants. I think we might have some more elephants over there. I'm still quite stunned by watching that elephant swim earlier. And that very upright, it's scratch, scratch, scratch. Oh dear. These elephants are really enjoying this river as well. The ones in the water there are just behind the tree there, which is a bit frustrating. And there's a very wet individual making his way down to the water's edge there. That elephant looks like it's feeling playful or jovial or something. That walk with that head shake, that bit of a swagger going on. Are these all going to cross, I wonder? I would love to watch that. I'm not sure if we can get an angle on it though. I don't think we can quite get the angle to see what's going on here, but there's definitely some elephants in the water there enjoying this very fast flowing river. And I think it's really interesting as well that we've had a few people asking, can elephants swim, would the elephant drown, etc, etc. And as is so often the case at the start of the show, nature provided us with a beautiful demonstration answering all the questions that we were asking. And that's often the case. If you watch, you observe, if you take time to understand and listen to what nature's trying to tell you, the answers come. Oh, Jarifan, you're saying you've seen giraffes crossing elephants in the past. Yeah, I'm not... Oh, is that a nice big kudu there? I'm not surprised. It would be... Oh, look at those lovely big male kudu there. Oh, gorgeous big boys. It would be a really unfortunate design flaw if giraffes weren't able to cross rivers, but it also... Nature does do things for a reason, and it could be that often you find genetic or species, subspecies splits. Copy that. I will.
My heart is pounding at the moment.
We are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and a female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Chidzana natsi maran tumbuluko Zobukazi yashitsunzucho Hosi ya rumela.
How cool is this?
Kaz is asking, do elephants feel the cold of water as their skin is so thick? Probably not too much, Kaz. Remember, our water might occasionally be a little bit cool here, but it's not sort of freezing cold water that would not be manageable. So I think all animals would probably feel it to some extent, but it's not cold enough to do any real damage. Just a little bit fresh. They might just go ooh, when they got in a bit. Catherine, hearing a lion roar up close is the best feeling in the bush. I had one roar next to my tent at night. That's pretty close. That canvas must have been shaking. Oh, this little rhino looks very inquisitive, hey? There's obviously something over there he's interested in. It's feeling a little bit unsure. Oh, it's a. I'm not surprised that rhino's feeling a little bit unsure. See, I'm convinced I saw 2 males in this pan yesterday, I think, who were cohabiting perfectly happily. Let's see if there's going to be an interaction here. They were definitely asked to back off a bit there by Mum. Look at that gorgeous screen image. That's a popular mound there. I wonder if these rhinos are also going to roll around in whatever is going on there. Ah, little one's laying down. See, that's better. Everyone's got their own spot. No one's upset. Ah, space for everyone to enjoy that mud. Lindsay, that little baby is very cute. Oh look, there's warthogs there as well. I've heard some people look at warthogs and go, oh look at the baby rhino. I don't do things like that, but some people do. And you can see where especially tiny young rhinos, really sort of newborn rhinos, they don't look dissimilar to warthogs. Jive Bunny, you think there are 2 mothers, so maybe two mothers and then two youngsters, possibly. Those other 2 were quite similar size, but I'm starting to give up guessing at the sex and makeup of groups of animals on these cameras because I've got it wrong too many times. So until I'm sure that this is a mum and a calf, but until I'm sure I've stopped guessing. Leopard lover, yes, beautiful crash of rhinos here. And leopard lover, yes, that little one did stick his nose right in the water there. Now, are you going to chase those warthogs, little guy? That was a cool image if anyone got that warthog being trailed by a rhino. And that's why it can be so difficult to get scale on things without seeing. If you were just looking at this young one without mum, it would be difficult to scale just how tiny he is. Bunju, you're advising this mum is Margaret. She's got that ankle bracelet. I recognise Margaret. I didn't know she was called Margaret. What a fabulous name. I was helping someone with some local community dogs recently, and I was told that this is Tony the dog, which I found quite entertaining as well. David Atwood saying the rhino reminds you of the dinosaur Triceratops. There is something very dinosaur looking or prehistoric about these animals. I feel the same when I look at crocodiles. They look very prehistoric to me as well, and beautiful water reflections. Gina, I agree. Lindsay, yes, they did listen very well, and animals often do. Just a little bit of body language, a little bit of communication, and gentle, polite requests are very often enough to resolve most confrontations, interactions, whatever you want to call them. You can hear some blue wax bills there. The microphones on these cameras are also brilliant. Animal lover. Rhinos slurp. I did do extensive research on animals and their drinking techniques. And I concluded that they drink differently. It's not, I thought it might be diet related, but it's just mouth structure and how good a seal is around that mouth structure. I did also learn that feline species will lap using their tongue, but they use their tongue to create sort of a line of water, so they sort of lick up a line of water and then close their mouth quickly, whereas canines lap and just sort of slap water around and get as much in their mouth as they can. So even canines and felines drink water differently. So I did indeed find that out. While I've been doing a few of these, I'm spending quite a lot of time doing background research on things as well, which is brilliant. I'm absolutely fascinated by all of the things I read. I certainly don't do background reading on things because I feel obliged to. I just find it very, very interesting. Oh, that's a nice bit of sound. Little wagtail there. Erica, it's a pleasure. Please do join us again soon. Thank you for taking the time to be here on this fabulous Monday with all these beautiful rhinoceroses. Those warthogs are still bouncing around there. Leopard lover, imagine if the baby rhino had a wallow party with the warthogs. They would be brave warthogs, while it might just be an accident. Even a baby rhino is a lot of animal if there's a little bump incident. And you saw a baby rhino and a warthog playing in Pilanesberg. They both had the zoomies. I think that's beautiful, leopard lover. And just another indication of how in unison nature can be. No I've seen lots of video clips online and things like puppies will play with lambs and all sorts of animals will interact with other animals so nicely. Doesn't seem to be any prejudice or discrimination. It was just two little baby things playing together, which I think is beautiful. Very cool sighting as well, hey? Gina Biddle's asking, do the animals ever develop sores from the bracelets they have? It's not impossible. All animals are different shapes, but if it did happen, it would be addressed and the device would either be adjusted or removed. Humans are not going to apply monitoring devices that are going to cause any adverse effects.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Okay, this is an interesting experiment. I'm going to check one of my reference books and see if they say warthogs aloe groom or not. Common warthog, let's see. Oh, okay. My book does say that warthogs aloe groom. But it wouldn't be the first time I've seen something and checked. And whatever book I have in front of me says, oh no, that doesn't happen. When you've just blatantly seen it happen in front of you. Which is why I spend so much time saying, it depends. Okay, I think let's go back across to Tembe. I would love to have a look at these elephants across at Tembe Elephant Park. Joanne Mello, have a good Monday, everyone. Thank you, Wild Earth and Kelly. It's an absolute pleasure. Joanne, Gina Biddle, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure. We've got 8 minutes left, but I will be back again tomorrow. Jean Grove, you've got one final serious question to ask. That sounds very final and serious. If someone gets hurt by accident, do you have a medical team standing by? Humans, not so much a medical team, but most of the lodges where these cameras are will have plans, emergency plans, evacuation plans, guides. All guides are, I think, required by law to be first aid trained at least, and most of these lodges have access to evacuation plans or teams if required. Penelope Kenyon, another great waterhole show. Thank you to all at Wild Earth. Thank you, Penelope Kenyon, for joining us this afternoon or today, wherever you may be in the world. Pause, interesting question. Pause as in that's your name, not I was announcing that I was going to be quiet for a second. Do all animals have milk teeth and adult teeth? That's a really good question. I suppose first question would be if they have any teeth, but pause. I'm going to put that on my homework list for tomorrow. So you are going to have to come back tomorrow to find out the answer. Milk teeth. I know lots do. Whether or not they all do, I don't know. All animals. Oh, and I finally found out tambourine dove. Someone asked me ages ago about why a tambourine dove gets its name, and it is indeed partially due to the soft sound it makes. It's sort of like a boop 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 boop, and also because of its name. Its scientific name is Torta tympanistria, and tympanistria comes from the Greek tympano, which means drum or tambourine, which also links to its name of the tambourine dove. So I do homework, but pause. I'm going to find out if, I think most animals do, even elephants, they have milk tusks, but I'm going to find out more if any animals do not have milk teeth. But you'll have to come back tomorrow to find out the answer. Darkmane Lover, thank you, Wild Earth, Africam Kelly, and in FC Mika. Can't forget the Zoomies too. Thank you, Zoomies. You do an excellent job, and thank you, Darkmane Lover, for joining us. Leopard Lover, that's what you love about Wild Earth, dispelling textbooks and providing visual confirmation of the insights into these intelligent animals' lives. Absolutely. I'm sure you... Oh, what's going on here? I'm sure you notice that as people that host the show, we're often reticent to say hard yes or no's on many things, because you don't know what you don't know. And that's why I enjoy being set at homework. Look at these two elephants. They're both having I think they're both having a little think here. Some posturing, a little bit of lateral physical discussion there. So you're not even looking at each other when they're communicating. Darkmane Lover, it's an absolute pleasure. I will be back tomorrow. Please send me more difficult questions. Make me uncomfortable live on air, Darkmane Lover. It's it's always good fun. Brilliant questions from you as always, Jive Bunny. Thank you so much for joining us at FC Wild Earth and Africam Zoomies. Thank you for being here, Jive Bunny, and thank you for your insightful information about historical events. David Atwood, I do not have any updates about the young white lion. I'm not sure if he was located on yesterday's afternoon drive. I'm not sure if FC, if you could give me any updates on the young white male, if there was any sightings or any more information. I don't currently have any though, I'm afraid, David Atwood. Alex watching Wild Earth is homework. Guys, no excuse now. Absolutely not. And anyone else who is listening, you are welcome to join me in my homework, and we shall roll ideas around. I've just been reliably updated that Peshwari was not seen yesterday afternoon. So we have no updates. But yeah, anyone else who would like to go and research any of the things we've spoken about in today's show, you are very welcome. I'm always happy to be challenged on things, or look, these two have decided everything's fine. I'm frequently not right by my own admission, and anyone that is not prepared to admit that, I think maybe has a lot to learn. And it's about discussing things and considering different options and ideas. So if anyone has heard anything you would like to discuss tomorrow, come back and we can chat about it together. Darkmane Lover, I'm glad I make you laugh. Yeah. we can see how long I can without committing to an answer for tomorrow if you join us at the same time again. Oh, okay. I've just had an update that he was seen with 2 females later on in the show. So Peshwari was seen with 2 females, which is excellent news. Look at this little standoff going on. You wouldn't think a standoff between 9 or 10 tons of animal could be so incredibly peaceful, would you? Very peaceful, non-committal standoff going on here. Unfortunately, we are almost out of time for today. I will be back again tomorrow with all these fabulous cameras and all these fabulous animals. Come with your questions, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your comments, and we can share them all together tomorrow. I'm going to be going away to do my homework. Anyone else who wants to do some research and present it on tomorrow's show is most welcome. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your coffee and your afternoon. And we will be back again tomorrow to see what we can see. Until then, have a good day.